Yes guys, it's Willem here from FlareTCG, coming at you with a Memento deck profile. So I took this deck to locals on Sunday. Did decently. It was my first time playing the deck, but I wish I played a bit better. But that tends to happen if you're playing a deck for the first time, you don't know all the combos. So I'm just going to do the deck profile as quickly as possible. I don't want to waste too much of your time. I know longer videos don't tend to get the best response. So I'm just going to start off with triple Memento and Darkblade. So on normal or special, you can pitch a Memento monster to destroy a spell trap on the field, or Memento card rather, to pop a spell trap on the field. Then actually you can just, during the main phase, destroy a Memento monster you control to special summon a Memento from your deck that's level 3 or lower. The back row pop actually did come up quite a few times, just to bait out like imperms and stuff like that. So it is quite nice that it does have that effect. This guy is also just a full one card combo by itself. Then I played triple Anguish. Anguish is a dark spellcaster, so that is quite relevant in this deck due to the fact that it's dark and a spellcaster. So you can make the Dark Charmer with it and then reborn it with Selene as well. But this card on normal or special summon just adds a Memento monster from your deck to your hand. Then also you can destroy a Memento monster you control to summon a Memento that's level 2 or lower from your graveyard. So this thing is really good. I know they're both normal summons, but I like having the option of drawing one of them because they are the best one card combos. So yeah, that is my reasoning for playing 3 of each. Then I play triple of the horse thing. I have no idea what exactly, if it's a seahorse or just a plain horse, but it's a Tachunu Toshigo. I believe that's how you say the name. Yeah. In any case, this guy says if you do not control any face-up monsters, or any monsters that are not mementos, meaning if you just control mementos or nothing, you can special this guy from your hand. Then once per turn, you can destroy a memento monster you control. Then you check its level, then you send memento monsters with different names from your deck to your graveyard that have levels that either equal or are less than that level of the monster you destroyed. So let's say, for instance, you target himself, you pop himself, you can send monsters that are equal to level 5 or up to level 5 from your deck to your graveyard. So this guy is also a full one card combo on its own and is an extender, so that is why you play 3. Then you play, well, I play 2 Memento and Goblin. It's important to know that this guy is a fiend and a dark, so that comes up when it comes to extra deck plays. It's also because it's named Goblin, you can actually summon it out of the deck with a specific spell. But also this guy is just, while you control the massive big boy, the combined creation, you can discard him. Your mementos can't be targeted until the end of the turn. I've never used that effect before. Usually when I draw this guy, it's just to start a combo. But yeah, it also has another effect. While it's on the field on your main phase, you can pop a memento monster you control to send 2 memento cards from your deck to your graveyard with different names. So this guy is full combo on his own as well, but I only play 2 because this combo is a bit worse, and you play 3 other spells to get it out of the deck as well. Then I'm going to place these in ascending order, but you'll see why, because they are all important one-offs that this deck plays. So you play the 1 Memento and Mace. It's a light fairy that's also important for an inboard piece. This is just during your opponent's main phase. If you control the combined creation, the big boy, you can send this from your hand to the graveyard to change of heart and monster your opponent controls. On top of that, while it's on the field, you can destroy a memento monster you control to add any memento card from your deck to your hand. So that is quite important in the combos searching your spells and traps. Then I played the utter brick of the deck, which is Memento and Gatic. You never want to draw this card, but if you do, there are still ways to combo through it. But this card is stupidly good as well. It is a fiend, and it is it's a dark and a fiend, important for the extra deck. But if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a memento card from your graveyard or from your graveyard to your hand. On top of that, if it's sent to the graveyard by a memento monster effect, then it can just special summon itself from the graveyard. So the horse and the goblin both can dump this. Then it summons back, add something else back. On top of this, you have extra deck cards that also dump it from the deck. So hopefully if you don't draw it, at least you get it out of the deck quite soon and use its really good effect. Then the one-off Sleepy. At first when I was building this deck on EDO Pro, I thought about playing 2 of this, but then I realized it's the perfect one-off. You're never going to use the effects more than once in a turn because you can't, but they are good extenders. But this is a Earth level 3 beast that doesn't make a difference, but during the turn a monster in your possession was destroyed by card effect. You can special summon this card from your hand. That's a quick effect, so that's during either player's turn. Then when it's normal or special summoned, you can actually fusion summon for a Memento fusion monster by using monsters from your hand or field as material. That's super good, especially you use it both in your turn and in your opponent's turn in certain combos. And if this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect, then you can actually send a Memento card from your deck to your graveyard. So it's just another Foolish Burial that's an extender in the main deck, and I think that's pretty good. That's why I was considering initially to play 2, but then I realized it's not necessary. Then we have this ugly bastard, Momentalin Akihiron. What's this? Akihiron. He might be ugly, but yours are useful. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate the effect. Level 9 or higher Memento monsters you control can attack directly this turn. That is actually quite good because it just means you can OTK through an established board as well. Then the other effect is if he's destroyed by a card effect, you can actually target a Memento card in your graveyard or in your banish zone, add it to your hand. And then if a Memento monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, from your hand as well. Shit, I didn't even know that. But in any case, while he's in your graveyard, you can just special summon him back. So this guy is like super annoying for your opponent because he just keeps on recurring each turn. And also when he gets popped, you recycle your back row, which is really, really good. He is literally the perfect one-of in the deck. Then you play I play the Momentalin Horn Dragon. So this guy is, if you control 3 or more, 3 Mementos in your graveyard with different names, you can just special summon him from your hand. If he's popped on the field, then he can destroy 3 cards on the field, that is including a Memento, so 2 cards your opponent controls and 1 Memento you control. So he's just an extender and he's a disruption as well, so he's pretty good. I know certain builds don't play him, but I thought he's too good to not include. Then you have the Combined Creation himself. This guy is really, really broken actually. There's no reason for it to have 5,000 attack and defense, but it does, so we'll take it. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It's important to know that because you actually have spells that can summon Mementos from the deck, so you can't summon this guy from that. So it can either be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by shuffling from your hand or graveyard 5 Mementos with different names back into your deck. And then if he's alone on the field, he can attack all your opponent's monsters once each. With 5k attack, that's going to be a lot of damage. On top of that, if your opponent activates a card or effect, and that's if, meaning it activates in the next chain, you can special summon a Memento from your hand or graveyard. This guy is really, 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 really good. Perfect one-of as well. Boss monster of the deck. Then for the spells and the traps for Mementos, I played triple Momentalin Bonaparte. This guy destroys a Memento in your hand or field to special summon in defense position a Memento from your deck or to add it from your deck to your hand. It has a graveyard effect where you can just banish the target Memento and it does piercing. That effect is not relevant, it's just the first effect that is relevant. I mean, this card is a no-brainer as a 3-of. Then you play, triple Momentalin Fusion. This card is really, really busted. So during the main phase, you can fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as materials, including Memento monsters. But then if you destroyed a monster or a monster in your possession is destroyed by card effect during this turn, you can actually shuffle the materials from your graveyard back into the deck. So it is a cracked fusion spell because it's a quick play as well, so you can use it in your opponent's turn. But also it has a graveyard effect, like during your main phase, You can banish this to destroy a monster you control, and if you do, add a Memento spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Both effects are once per turn, but holy shit, this card is broken. But yeah, you'll see the monsters you can summon with this later on in the extra deck. Then I played a triple of the Goblin Biker Grand Breakout. It's a quick play spell, so by the way, just to make sure you are aware, both of these are also quick play spells, which means that they can actually help you dodge disruption. But yeah, this is also a quick play spell. It says you tribute a monster, special summon a goblin monster from your deck, but it cannot attack this turn. That is irrelevant. And then the other effect I've never even read because I don't think it matters. But essentially, this allows you to play through Imperm on your one card starters. On top of that, this is also just a starter on its own where literally you can like summon an Ash Blossom or a Veiler or something, activate this, tribute that monster, and then summon your goblin, and then you have full combo. So this card is really, really good. Generally, I tend to side it out going second because I don't think it's that necessary, but going first, obviously to play through hand traps, it is quite good. Then I played the one Memento Micklin. The field spell, this card is really busted if you can stick it. So it just says, if a Memento battles, your opponent can't activate spell or traps, so it essentially turns them into Ancient Gears. And then if a Memento monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target that monster, and then you can reborn one from your graveyard or summon one from your hand that is a lower level. So obviously you're just replacing your Mementos. On top of that, this also, and during the end phase, you can set a Memento spell or trap from your graveyard. This card is dumb. It does 3 effects. The first effect doesn't matter though, but the other 2 effects are so good that I think this card is dumb. Then I choose to play one of the traps. It's the Memento and Fracture Dance. So this is if you control a Memento monster, you can target one card in the field, destroy it. But if you control the combined creation, you can actually target or just destroy an additional card. So that's a non-target pop on the additional card. Also, it has a graveyard effect. When an attack is declared involving your Memento and an opponent's monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard. All monsters your opponent controls currently, they lose 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. So this is just a nice, like a battle phase trick essentially, but it is part of certain combos where you can actually search this with the other 2 spells. And also if you draw one of the spells, you can just search this, so it's an additional layer of disruption. It might be a bit worse going second, but it is actually just another target for you to get as well. Then just for non-engine now, I play Triple Ash. Doesn't need any explanation. So this is something that I would change. I played 2 Droplet because I was actually, lending my 2 of my Droplets to one of my friends, and he only has 1, so he was playing something else. But I would definitely up this to 3. This card is ridiculous, and I would cut the Pot of Prosperity because I think the deck is actually consistent enough. So that would have been the 3rd Forbidden Droplet. Then I played 2 Talents. Talents is just really good. I don't understand why you wouldn't play it. Then I played Call By. I might actually consider just dropping the Call By, but then again, Shifter really murders this deck, so I would maybe just keep this in going first. Usually going second, I side this thing out, but going first just to obviously extend a bit through hand traps and also just play around decks to play Shifter. And then Triple Imperm. Triple Imperm doesn't need any explanation. So that is the main deck. For the extra deck, it's really, really simple. I'm just going to show you. You play triple, well, I play triple of the Creation King in the extra. So he's a level 9, I believe, if you count all the stars. Yeah, level 9 Earth. It's an illusion, not that it matters. It takes 3 Memento monsters to summon. On summon, it can send 3 Memento cards from your extra deck and deck to graveyard. And also it's got a quick effect where you can target any number of Mementos you control and destroy the same number of cards your opponent controls. So let's say if you just control him, you can pop one card, you can pop himself and a excuse me, a monster your opponent controls. Really good. He's a disruption and he's a combo piece. Then I played 2 of the Twin Dragon. He just takes 2 Memento monsters. On summon, you can destroy a Memento monster on your field or in your hand. That's when you draw Gatic, you can pop it in your hand. Then you can add 2 Mementos with different names, Memento monsters with different names from your deck to your graveyard, from your deck to your hand. Then also, if he is destroyed, you can summon a level 6 or lower Memento from your graveyard. On top of that, any monster destroyed by battle with Memento gets banished instead. That effect has never come up. Now for the extra fusions that you can summon from your Memento infusion, play 1 Guardian Chimera. So obviously you guys should know what this does. It just takes 3 monsters, but some of them have to be in the hand, some of them on the field. So this guy can just pop cards and draw cards. Really, it should... I don't know if you can read the effect, but you guys should know what Guardian Chimera does if you've ever played against Branded back in the day. Then I play 1 Dragostapelia. Dragostapelia just takes a fusion and a dark. Remember, with the Memento infusion, you can actually shuffle the materials from your graveyard back into the deck. So you always have a dark monster in grave, and you always have a fusion in grave, so you can just summon this guy as an extra negate. Then for link monsters, it's access code, going for game and just outing problematic boards. You have Selene because you play a few spellcasters in the main deck. Well, not in the main deck, but at least Anguish is a spellcaster. So it does make sense getting the using her for the Selene. And then also 2 other spellcasters because it's dark, obviously because you need a dark monster, and Lina. Because there are some monsters in the deck that are light and some that are dark. You can make these 2. And obviously these just grab stuff out of your opponent's graveyard to make it simpler to link climb into your access code. Then for the more utility based, it's going to be the SP Little Knight. Obviously we all know what SP does. This is actually part of your end board. Then I play the Herald of Mirage Lights. Now this guy is actually part of your 1-card combo end board. He takes 2 monsters with the same type and attribute. I don't know if the camera can actually focus properly. Except the token. So you guys remember that Mace is actually a light fairy. So his effect is if a spell or trap is activated, you can send a fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard to negate that spell and trap, or spell or trap. So that's just a spell and trap negation. The reason why that's good is this deck does lose to mass back row wipes. So you really want to have this to obviously stop those cards. And then you have the Artemis, the Moon Maiden. Because you play the what's her name, the Anguish, she is a level 4 lower spellcaster, so you can just obviously go into this and then turn your dark spellcasting into a light, so you can go for Lina, which can reborn a detonator from your opponent's graveyard, or Blue Eyes, or whatever the case may be. It just turns anything into a Lina essentially. Then also I play the Relinquished Anima, because you play a few level 1 monsters in the deck. Obviously the Mace and the 2 Goblin are level 1. This is also a spellcaster, but that doesn't make much of a difference. But it also allows you to summon the Dark. And obviously people sometimes do play into the Anima zone. It happens, but it is quite good. So that is it for the main and extra. I'm going to show you the the side deck that I did play, and that is going to be obviously up to personal preference, but I found this to be really good. There's only one change I would possibly make, that is, so let's just put it out there quickly. So triple Lancia, we all know why. Then triple Droll. This card is super good against Raziel Mitsurugi. But it's also decent against a lot of rogue matchups. Then triple Book of Eclipse. This is just to outboards going second. It's a really, really good card. Technically, you can also play it going first to prevent a nib to be dropped on you. So this can just book your board face down. You can use Memento Fusion and just fuse off your stuff. So the nib has already tried to activate. Then double Lightning Storm and the Feather Duster. Technically, I would have actually preferred to have kept these, like to swap these out for something else. What this something else is, I'm not entirely sure. It might either be Nibiru or actually, what's his name, Phantasme or something like that. I thought about those because those are actually quite good. However, I'm not sure about that, but you guys can give me suggestions in the comment section if you'd like. Then I've got triple evenly. So the reason why I chose evenly is just this is an ignorant board breaker. So essentially you just plop it down and tell your opponent, listen, you're going to lose your board if you don't negate it. So I believe it is quite good in the current meta. And obviously this thing paired with Droplet is really unfair. So yeah, triple evenly. And now I'm just going to show you guys just one card combo, just to give you guys a feel of how the deck operates. Okay, so I'm going to show you a pure one card combo. It can be done with either one of these. I mean, it can also be done sort of with the horse as well, with the goblin as well. So there are many one card combos, but these two are just the cleanest, so I'm just going to show those. I mean, the only difference you get, so let's say you only have the Dark Blade, the only difference is you're just going to tribute or pop that to summon the Anguish out from the deck. But if you open the Anguish, you're just going to have one less monster in your graveyard. So just for, let's say, completion's sake, I'm just going to start off with a Dark Blade. So you're going to start your turn, you're going to normal summon your Dark Blade. You're going to activate the effect. Sorry, it's bothering me a lot. I know there are zones, but to fit it into the camera, I can't play into the zones. It's just, okay, but in any case, you pop the Dark Blade to summon out the Anguish from your deck. The Anguish will then trigger to add a Memento monster from your deck to hand. That's going to be the horse. Because you only control Mementos, you can actually special summon the horse from your hand. You're going to use the horse effect to pop itself and send a goblin to graveyard. You're going to send a mace to the graveyard. And you're going to send a Sleepy. So if you check, obviously the horse is a level 5. These are a level 3, a level 1, and a level 1, so that adds up to 5. So you're going to send all these 3 to the graveyard. Then you're going to activate Anguish's second effect. So you're going to activate it to destroy a Memento monster you control to special summon a level 2 or lower Memento from your graveyard. That is going to summon out the mace from your graveyard. And then you activate the mace effect. You destroy a Memento card you control to add a Memento from your deck to hand. So that is going to be your Memento Fusion. Now remember, we have destroyed monsters in our possession by card effect this turn so far, so you can actually activate this to fusion summon by shuffling from the graveyard back into the deck. And that is exactly what we're going to do. You're going to activate your Memento Fusion. Because you've already used your mace, you can shuffle that back. Because you don't need the horse in the graveyard, you shuffle that back. And you can choose whichever one of these you want to shuffle back in. It doesn't make a difference, so I'm just going to put back the Anguish. You can technically shuffle the goblin back as well, but there are lines where you can maybe add back the goblin or special it back, and then you can actually complete a different combo with that if you get interrupted. But this is just assuming we're not getting interrupted. Then you're going to summon your Creation King. So this guy is going to activate. He's going to send a copy of himself from the extra deck to the graveyard, because he can send from extra deck as well. Then you're going to send the ugly bastard of the deck to the graveyard. And then you are going to send the brick, the Gatic, from your deck to the graveyard. So with these cards going to the graveyard, on the next chain, you're going to activate your Gatic effect, because he was sent to the graveyard by Memento effect. He's going to summon himself. He's going to activate to add back the sheep from your graveyard that you sent off of your horse in the beginning. Then before you do anything else, you're going to banish your big fusion from the graveyard, because he has another effect where you can banish him to add the field spell from your deck to your hand. So that is exactly what we're going to do. You're going to add the field spell and you're going to activate it. You're going to park it there and just going to keep it there one side. Now you're going to activate your Sleepy effect, because a monster was destroyed by a card effect this turn. You can special summon it. On summon, you're going to activate its effect to fuse, but you're going to use your Gatic and your fusion monster, because you don't need this guy on the field. and you're going to summon out your twin dragon. Just so by the way, before I do the rest of the combo, there is a guy on YouTube that I have watched these combos. That's one of the reasons why I started falling in love with the deck. He showed this line of play. I'll obviously tag him in the comments or in the description or something if I can find his name. But he really helped me to understand this deck. So shout outs to you, my man. I don't know who you are. Well, I can't remember your name rather. But in any case, on summon, the twin dragon is going to activate. It's going to destroy a memento on field or in your hand to add to with different names. So you're going to destroy your Sleepy, and that is going to search for your mace again. So now you have this in hand, so you can use the hand effects, and that is going to add for your tri-horned dragon. On a new chain, because the Sleepy was destroyed, you can actually mill or send from deck to graveyard any memento card. So this is where you send your creation king, or your combined creation, sorry, the big boy. Now, in the next step is going to be to banish your fusion from grave, to destroy this, to add a memento spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So that's going to be your boner party. So on the new chain, there are going to be some effects. So it's going to be chain link 1 of the field spell. Because a memento was destroyed, you can target this and then summon one with a lower level from your graveyard. Chain link 2 is going to be his effect. Because he was destroyed, you can summon a level 6 or lower from your graveyard. And then chain link 3, the ugly bastard Akihiron is going to trigger because a memento you control was destroyed by battle or card effect. So it's going to be chain link 1, chain link 2 of the fusion, chain link 3 the Akihiron. So you're going to basically get 3 monsters off of that one exchange. So that's going to be your Akihiron summoning. Your twin dragon is going to either summon your Gatic or your goblin. It doesn't really matter at this point, but I just like to go for the goblin here. And then the field spell will resolve to summon out a monster with a lower level, and that's going to be your Gatic. Now, if you remember, I said in the deck profile that these both are Dark Fiends. That is important for the next part of the combo. Essentially, you're just going to link these guys into, because they have the same type and attribute, you can make the Herald of Mirage Lights. So we already have a spell and trap negate because we have a Light Fairy in hand as well. So now you have that. What you're going to do next is you're going to activate your boner party. You're going to pop your Akihiron, and you're going to summon anything you don't have in your grave already. Usually that's the one I go for. Because I have Darkblade in grave now, I'm just going to summon out an Anguish from the deck. But usually I just go for the one I don't have in graveyard. So I'm just going to summon out another Anguish. And then on the next chain, because Akihiron was destroyed by a card effect, I'm going to activate his effect to target a memento card in Banish Zone or in my graveyard, add it back to my hand. So that's going to be the Memento Infusion. Then you already have the fusion in hand. And now, because you have 3 mementos with different names in your grave, you can special summon the Trion Dragon. And here you are just going to link with these guys 2 generic monsters, effect monsters, going to make your SP Little Knight. This is super important to play around Nib. So what you're going to do now is you're going to use, or not use, you're just going to summon out your combined creation from the graveyard. That's going to shuffle back all your 5 mementos, apart from specifically the Trion Dragon, the Akihiron, and the Creation King. So you want these 3 to be in your graveyard. The rest monsters you can just shuffle back. So I usually shuffle back the Twin Dragon to get it back in my extra deck. And I shuffle back the Gatic, the Sheep, and the Goblin, Anguish, or Darkblade. Either or, it's up to your personal preference. So those are all going to go back into the deck. And then you summon, obviously, your big guy. Now, if you set your fusion spell, so that's going to be set there, and you attempt to leave the main phase, if they want to nib you here, you just chain the SP, banish itself, and your combined creation, and they come back in the end phase. And then you lose your Herald, but it's not the end of the world. At least you don't lose this guy. But in any case, let's say you go to your end phase, you're going to activate your field spell. That's going to set any memento spell or trap from your graveyard. You're going to set your boner party again. And yeah, that is your end board. So this doesn't look like much, but if you take into consideration what is happening here, you'll see that you have a spell and trap negate by sending this from hand to grave, or you can firstly use the effect to have like a change of heart. You have an SP, which can obviously just be like a Farfa effect. This guy, as soon as your opponent activates a card or effect, you can activate his effect to summon back the fusion from your graveyard. Now the fusion, like I stated before, can pop any number of mementos and the same number of cards your opponent controls. So let's say if you play this out in this way, so let's say your opponent goes, activates Lightning Storm, calling back row. You're going to use your Herald, you're going to chain his effect to negate the Lightning Storm. Right. Then let's say he activates another effect that's just activating. You can activate this guy's effect to special summon your Creation King from your graveyard. Now, let's say your opponent has a card that you want to pop. You go effect, you can destroy this and your opponent's monster or card or whatever. Then on a new chain, because a memento was destroyed, it's going to be Chain Link 1 with a field spell, Chain Link 2, Akihiron's effect in the graveyard. So this guy is going to summon himself back as Chain Link 2. The field spell is going to target this and summon one with a lower level from your graveyard, which is going to be the Horned Dragon. Then, let's say your opponent proceeds to still want to play through your board. You actually have the Bone Party. So you use the Bone Party, you destroy your Horned Dragon, and you will then summon out. You can either summon out Gatic, or you can also summon out the Anguish, or you can summon out the Sleepy. It's up to you which one you prefer. I just like doing this because it just gives me the most disruptions. So let's say you summon out the Gatic, right? On a new chain, it's going to be Chain Link 1 Gatic because it was special summoned to add back a Memento card. Chain Link 2 is going to be Tryon Dragon to destroy 3 cards on the field, including at least 1 Memento. So Chain Link 1 is going to activate, Chain Link 2 is going to activate, so you pop your own Akihiron and 2 cards your opponent controls. So it resolves backwards. That's going to pop and pop 2 cards your opponent controls. On a new chain, Gatic is going to activate to add back a Memento from your graveyard to your hand. So you add back the Mace. Now on a new chain, because there aren't enough, the Akihiron is going to trigger to add back any Memento card from your graveyard to your hand or your Banish Zone. So you're just going to add back the Bone Party for follow-up. Now, in this scenario, you've already negated a spell or trap. You've popped 3 cards so far, and you have recycled essentially your 1 card starter for the next turn. If your opponent still has something else, you can use the Mace in-hand effect, because you control the big boy, to send and change of heart a monster, so you're stealing your opponent's monster, right, until the end of the turn. Then you still have your SP effect, where you can actually just take it out when your opponent activates a card effect. If that isn't enough, because you've destroyed monsters during this turn so far by card effect, you can activate your Momental Infusion. You can shuffle Mementos from your graveyard back into the deck, right? So you have a fusion monster, and because you started out with the Dark Blade, or you can just shuffle back the Tryon Dragon because you've already used it, or you can use the SP or the Gatic. You can shuffle any one of them back. Let's just say I use the Dark Blade and I put them back. Now I can actually go for the Dragostapelia. So that's another monster negate as well. But if you had a monster in your, like a different monster in your hand, so then that would still be in your graveyard. You can actually just go activate Mental Infusion. Let's say you have a monster in your hand, you use that, and these 2 or this one and this one or whatever, you can also make the Guardian Chimera. Then you essentially pop 2 cards and draw 1. So let's just say if you go this route, you have 2 pops. You have 1 pop from the other fusion, you have 2 pops from your Tryon Dragon, you have a SP interruption, you have a spell and trap negate, you have a snatch steal from the Mace, you have a metric fuckton or follow-up as well, because this you can just banish to add another copy of itself. Akihiron can come back. So yeah, that is basically the gist of this deck. As a final say, I just want to say thank you to my good friend Janlu, we call him JLo, for allowing me to borrow the deck and play with it. Jy's 'n regte fokker chom. But yeah, that's going to do it for the mementos. If you want, I can do a dedicated combo video for this deck. And yeah, cheers guys. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And yeah, keep giving me some suggestions in the comment section. Cheers guys.